Hello, I'm SuAhn Lee from LINE Platform Engineering 3 Center. In this session, we're going to introduce three things. First of all, why is reliability important in the LINE platform? Second, the process of responding to problems. And finally, I would like to introduce the development culture that underpins all of this. Before we get started, let's introduce the LINE Platform Server. LINE Platform Server is a platform that has been developing together since the birth of the LINE app. It is responsible for the functions of essential areas of the app. This platform is developed by over 100 multinational members based on a common development culture. And I too have been with the LINE Platform Server organization since its beginning. And on behalf of the organization, I would like to introduce the practices and culture that developed over the past 10 years. Life online. This is the value LINE pursues. For users, LINE has become an essential service for life. LINE is an infrastructure of users' life, must provide reliable service. Reliability is meeting users' expectations. In order to meet the expectations of users, we consider reliability as an important value that LINE platform servers should pursue. In order to achieve this, we're trying to thoroughly manage disability. A problem that users can directly experience, or a situation in which internal system does not operate as expected, is called outage. The total number of LINE platform server outages in 2021 is as follows. You can be seen that outages occur irregularly. There are none in February and May, and there are many outages in August. Outages can occur at any time. It has been 10 years since LINE was created, and if you extend this graph to the past, it would be similar. This is how we think about outages. They are unavoidable. So rather than being afraid of outages, it's LINE's development culture to use them as valuable experiences to further improve the reliability of the platform. Then we will introduce the system of how LINE Platform Server responds to and learns about outages. A summary of our LINE Platform Server outages responses processes is as follows. If a problem is detected, the person in charge will be contacted quickly. After that, the issues are classified, escalated, fixed, and progressed at the same time. It is the key step in outage response. When the outage is resolved, we break down the situation and share it. Stakeholders come together and review the results and discuss improvements. Each step is introduced in detail here. Outages should be automatically detected through monitoring so that the person in charge can know them quickly. If this is not the case, if an outage is identified, anyone must contact the PIC so that they can respond. For this, we are managing contact points that allows the quick identification of managers and reporting channels. The next step is to classify outages. Levels are used to facilitate communication of impact of the outage or for management such as ex post classification. Each product has a criteria for clear classification of outage levels. At the time of the failure, the level of outage information can be estimated and shared, and this will continue to change. The figure on the right is a table of designating the level of outage that is actually being used. And platforms that provide features to users use these standards. The number of users affected by DAU is classified as coverage, and we determine the severity based on the type and state of the feature in question. And the level is determined through these two pieces of information. It is important to create a system that rapidly responds and scales in case of this outage happens. And this is because LINE's platforms are closely connected to each other. To propagate the situation of the outage, the content is propagated through a designated shared channel, and the outage information is spread through this channel. And through this shared channel, the PIC of the service involved checks the additional impact. It is also the customer service department's role to recognize and respond to these issues. We create templates to make it easy to write and understand these shared content. On the one on the right is a template that is currently being used. Outage recovery is a key process in outage responses. Depending on the type and the impact of the outage, the response will be different. Responding quickly reduces the impact of the issue, and we also identify the root cause. The department's lead has a total responsibility of responding to the outage. In accordance to his or her instructions, the members respond and report the situation. It's also the responsibility of the leader to regularly give an update about the situation in case of a lengthy outage and can designate a person in charge of communication. The first report is carried out within 1 working day after responding to the outage. When the report is written, it is shared through a set mailing list. The content of the report is also defined as a template. Please refer to what is written on the right. The contents of the template are as follows. Summarize the outage so that the non-developer departments can also understand it. Describe the detailed outage information such as the affected services and the response history for developers to refer to. Check the outage from the following 3 perspectives and describe the content that needs improvement. First, prevent recurrence. Secondly, improvement of outage detection. And thirdly, outage response. Each improvement item is defined in the form of an action item and managed by registering it as a development ticket. An outage retrospective is established within 5 working days after the outage recovery. We invite and engage as many people as possible. We give and receive various feedback and look for further improvements. After that, the report is finalized. So far, we have introduced the response processes of outages. This process is somewhat mandatory in our company. Our members at LINE have kept to it very well. And it is well maintained because it is based on our following developer culture, introducing the developer culture related to reality from now on. The easiest way to ensure reliability is to consider it at an early stage. From the beginning of our company, a strict review culture amongst colleagues have been formed and maintained. Code review is a development culture first established with the introduction of GitHub. There has been a culture of providing design documentation to help reviewers or reviewing the documentation and then starting implementation. There were not many test codes in the code at the beginning of LINE, but now it is becoming a culture where it is difficult to pass a code review without a test code. In addition, some teams are managing E2E tests in the form of integration tests as well as unit tests. We prevent problems that can occur at the code level through test cases, and this may be a factor because the reinforcement of the test code can be frequently mentioned as a measure to prevent the reoccurrence of failures. LINE Platform Server has various monitoring conditions to detect a problem. When a certain condition is reached, an alarm is generated to the developer. At this point, someone reacts to the alarm and needs to respond. And responding to these alarms while rotating between developers is called on-call duty. Through this system, we are operating a system that allows developers who can respond most appropriately to alarms at all times. and it prevents small problems identified through alarms from escalating into large problems. All action items in outage retrospective meetings are managed as tickets. Developers will have their trouble response tickets treated as an equal footing with other development work tickets. This kind of tickets could easily be seen as technical debt because when the outage response is over, it's no longer a priority. Then, if an outage due to a similar cause occurs, the on-process ticket will be at the center of the interests of developers again. Through this experience, I was able to understand the importance of managing outage tickets. We're using a method called OKR. As one of the organization's common OKRs, we set the goal of resolving outage tickets. And for propagation and execution, OKR's cascading methodology is used, redefining a team's contextual goals that can lead to goals common to the organization within to the team. And through this process, the common value of resolving outage tickets is recognized. And then we are making it so that it can be discussed and implemented according to the situation of the team. Regarding the tickets of the outage described above, these are the management results. From January to September 2021, 242 action item tickets were created, and 83% of them have been resolved or are in progress. And in the context of other development burdens, we consider this number to be a meaningful result. We will help you understand by introducing actual examples of the outage response process introduced earlier. This is an outage sharing channel report that came out around August 4th. Let's look at the report. At the top of the outage report, you see the summary of the outage. Then you see on the left, classification and impact of outage are summarized and organized. This is a problem when the control did not work properly when the backend server was restarted due to a misconfiguration of the proxy server that relays the request. And it is described that this caused the restarted server to become unstable. The following is more detailed information now. The scope of the impact is described in detail through logs and metrics at the time the problem occurred, writing down the number of affected users, the failed API, and other things as much in detail as possible. And the chapter provides detailed information related to the occurrence and recovery in a timeline. It has to be as detailed as possible. And the point at which of the cause of the failure occurred on the entire timeline is as the following. So here you can see when the problem occurred, when the problem was confirmed, and when the repair was completed in this timeline. And you can see more details in the report. Finally, the action items to prevent the reoccurrence of failures are here. So here in the actual report, each item is registered as a business JIRA ticket. And of course, all tickets must be actionable. Let's look into the report more in detail. It's written to turn on the health check function of the proxy server to prevent failure or outage. And from the point of view of improving outage detection, this fault was also confirmed as an alarm. And although this was restored by a rollback, it has also been arranged to reinforce the rollback guide because it lacked the deployment procedure document. As such, we are finding and developing improvements through outages. So let's talk about the lessons learned over 10 years. First, I think processes are fragile because the process must be clearly defined so that it can be executed immediately without any interpretation. And as the situation changes, it continuously needs to be updated to adapt to that change. And changes can only be executed if they are known by the people. Second, the process needs to be based in the culture, and a process is a minimal device. So, no matter how well organized a process is, it's meaningless if it's not recognized and implemented and practiced by the organization. And finally, uh, all the problems were not resolved autonomously. So the resolution of the outage ticket was accepted by everyone, but it wasn't actually easy to execute. So the status quo was visualized and the progress was periodically checked and the changes were also applied. So this is an area that we still have an area for improvement. Finally, I would like to close by summarizing what I've been said today. The platform organization of LINE is operating with reliability as one of its most important values so that life online, our vision, can be achieved. And to this end, we have clarified the process for preparing for problems. And the developer culture that develops voluntarily is helping to ensure reliability in the development and operation stages of our products. And through this, we're taking outages as valuable experiences to increase the reliability of the platform rather than considering them as obstacles and being afraid of them. We're going to constantly improve our Line platform, and will continue to develop our process and culture. That today's session has increased your trust in the Line platform server. Thank you very much for attending today's session.